Hey you guys, it's Britt. Today we're here to talk about a new TikTok account that, to be honest, it's reminding me a little bit, not exactly, but it reminds me a little bit of the Wren.Eleanor account. And there are quite a few people that are now also focusing on this account over on TikTok. Just having a discussion about the problems with these kinds of accounts. And I wanted to share with y'all so that we can extend the conversation. So we're going to be talking about the Brittikitty account, 16.9 million followers. And yeah, it says, if you follow us, we promise to make you smile. You don't want to make some people smile, because those people have bad intentions and you are putting your children on Front Street. But we're going to go over this account and I will share a few thoughts. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys. So like I said, a really large following over on TikTok, and this account features two children. One is a young girl. She might be about 4 years old. I'm not really good at like guessing children's ages. And the other one looks to be maybe around 1 or a little less. But basically, a lot of these videos get sky high views. The pinned videos, 1.2 million, 8.4 million, 19 million. The one that was just most recently posted has a million, 1.7 million, 1 million. And of course, the mom posts mom hacks where her kids are not on the thumbnail, and that only got 479,000. So, people are very infatuated with the older child because her videos, I automatically obviously go to the saves. The saves and the shares is what tells you, it kind of puts like that bad spotlight on what kind of content people are saving. And it makes me feel so uncomfortable to think that like these kids are being saved onto hard drives of computers who are owned by extremely scary individuals that you would not want interacting at all with your children, but you are giving them digital content that they can save onto their hard drives and share elsewhere, as we've talked about with the Ren and Jacqueline page. These people are doing awful things with this content that they are allowed to download and save. So I want to go through some of the content that had high saves on this account. This one, she is basically, she has a cucumber and 2 tomatoes in her hand. And that video has almost 50,000 saves. Why do you think a little girl holding a cucumber and 2 tomatoes would have almost 50,000 saves? I'll give you guys a second to guess. Next, we go to the younger child eating fake food. Like, remember the Baby Alive toys, the fake cherries? She's feeding the child that. It has 36.6 thousand saves. Here's another one. The little girl is interacting with a cat, and it has 153,000 saves. This one, her 2 children are in the shower, and even though they are clothed, this video still has 132,000 saves. There's something with kids trying food or eating food that is exceptionally disturbing with these accounts. This video, this child tries lemon, kiwi, and a pickle, and it has 24,000 saves. Here the child they're like playing with bugs on the kid's face, and she's making all of these funny faces. That has 109,000 saves. This other video, the child is lifting up her dress, and her back is towards the camera, but she's lifting up her dress like this. That has 109,000 saves. So obviously, you can scroll through these videos and very easily see like you know, let me put it this way. If somebody saved a video or a photo of my child 109,000 times, that content is going to come down and I am never going to post content like that again. I want to share one video with y'all, and this actually has to do with Wren and Jacqueline, but it's a therapist's take on the situation. So I will share her video. Her username is Therapy Thoughts, and her name is Maddie.
But as a therapist and as someone who's had personal experience with Wren's mom, I have some thoughts. Now, my personal experience is a little bit convoluted, so allow me to share. A couple years ago, I had a certain follower of mine who would impersonate different people on this app, and I know this because she did this to a few other creators as well. She would then comment on these other creators' profiles under her different profile names, pretending to be these different people to like interact with us. It's a whole thing. It's been worked out and taken care of, but it was a little bit wild. And one of the people she pretended to be was a mom who was posting pictures of her daughter online. So she made a whole Instagram account, pretended to be a mom caring for her daughter, and would use pictures of Wren as her daughter. She would take these photos of Wren, Photoshop them with a different woman's photo and name, and create a whole fake profile that had likes, it had engagement, had everything using Wren's face. Me and the couple other creators that were seeing this happen and seeing this pattern confronted Wren's mom about it. We were like, hey, just to let you know, like your daughter's face is being used online. We just want to give you the awareness. Here's the account. We reported it. You might want to too. Just like as a heads up, here's what you can do about it. I wish I still had the screenshots. I'm going to still look for them if I can find them, but this was a couple years, this was like 2020 or 2021. This was happening even then. But she was basically saying, thanks, but there's nothing I can do. And we reminded her, hey, like we know who this person is. There are things you can do. You can report, you can take your kid's face down. Just like, hey, like not to insert ourselves, but there's things that you can do. Try them. And she was basically like, thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And because we did figure out who the person was behind this account, I do not believe they had any malicious intent or ill intent or creepy intent with it. But that could still happen. That's not okay. And the fact that we know there are way creepier and horrific things that are happening, like we know of them happening, but mom still doesn't want to do anything to support her daughter, like it really just breaks my heart. And as a child therapist, I do know that this could have a lasting impact on Wren's mental health. Like pretend the creepy stuff wasn't even happening, but it is. Pretend it's not. Even the fact that she's at like the center of her mom's like income and the center of like the world knows her face without her knowing the world. It's going to have some lifetime consequences for her. Now, I hope it doesn't. I'm not putting that into the universe, but typically when we see kids who are taking center stage of their parents' life and their livelihood at a really early age, it has some lasting psychological impacts, especially when there's not consent involved. Meaning the child is not even aware of some of these videos or what their intent is. Like if you're on TV, you kind of know, hey mom, I'm going to be on TV. You don't really know what's going to happen, but you know a little bit more. Whereas these videos can be taken without her even knowledge of them being taken and be posted in the first place. I've also been interviewed by a few other news articles way back when talking about how children should not be the presence online if they cannot consent to it. If they don't have to understand what consent is, understanding the impact, I do not think children faces and their livelihoods and all of these things should be online, period. Because of the lasting psychological impact. And we just want to protect kids. We want to protect kids. And as you add the creepy element to it, it really does break my heart for Wren. That said, I'm not sure what's going to happen next with this whole thing, but I'm glad we're finally speaking out about it. I've known since 2020 or 2021 when this whole thing was happening with the fake profile that this is not a good thing, and it still continues to not be a good thing. So
some of the comments on her video are very valid. One says, when Wren is older, it's going to be more heartbreaking how strangers were more concerned about her safety than her mom. And I think that applies to so many of these kids that are on social media, the ones who have really big followings and the ones that have small followings too, because you don't have to be part of a big channel to have people who have ill intentions saving the child's content. You know, I've backed up so many of my opinions with professionals and attorneys, and my last video we heard from that retired FBI agent, and it's tough to look at any of these family vloggers and say, oh well, they're not as bad, because at this point I'm just going to say that if you are putting your child out there on a consistent basis, you know, every day, numerous times a week, if you are one of those people and your channel is getting higher engagement when you are sharing your children, I think that is problematic, just like I think that Wren and this other account, Brittikitty, are problematic as well. Same with the LeBrants and the 8 passengers thing and the Ace family and the Doherty dozen. All of them, if you are clearly seeing that there is more attention on your channel when your kids are shown, and you continue to rinse and repeat that, like, how could I hold space to try to understand that? I can't. And as heartbreaking as the Wren situation is, I am really glad that it's allowing this conversation to grow regarding child safety and people that are putting their kids out onto social media, because I've heard from so many more people than I did like a year ago. You know, I covered Jacqueline's video over a year ago, and back then the amount of people that were talking about it was very small compared to how many people are talking about it now. So if there is a silver lining, it's that the awareness and the call out has grown current day, which I'm glad about. So anyway, I think a lot of these kids are just going to be there's just going to be so many fractured relationships with parents or caregivers when these kids get old enough to realize that from the moment that they're, they were brought into this world, everything was content and the parents made money off that content. And whether or not the parents are saving it, is it worth it? Like, is it worth it? And who's to say if all of them are saving it? And if they are, how much are they saving? We've talked before about Coogan laws and all of that. And Coogan laws doesn't apply to influencer kids. And I think that's also why a lot of people approach social media with their kids instead of getting them into acting. Because actors are protected with the Coogan law. YouTube kids and influencer kids are not. And the parents get away with whatever they want. No cap on work hours. You don't have to save money. Yeah, it's a whole mess. So either way, hold on, puppy, I'm almost done. Those are going to be my thoughts for today. If you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.